I've been contemplating what I wanted my first video back to be after I was sick. And to be, I don't know what I've wanted it to be for a bit. And it's been a hard decision, but I think I know what I'm doing now. So yay, you're here now. Anyway, quick disclaimer before we start. I am a little bit sick. I'm still I'm like halfway better, I think. This is like the first time I felt good enough to like do a video, and I really wanted to get this out to you guys, so I'm trying to power through. I'm on cough syrup, it's fine. So if I'm breathing heavily and just kind of spacing out, I guess, that's what it is what it is. We're trying our best here, okay? Also wanted to let you know, just in case you notice it, I have a bruise from getting my blood drawn. I promise I'm okay. It's still there. It's been like a week and it's still there. So I bruise like an apple, so I knew it was gonna be there for a while, but there's nothing I can do about it, so we're just moving on. It just looks it looks a little gnarly. I mean, it looks better than it was, but yeah, it's there. Kind of looks like a cool birthmark, I guess. But anyway, that's it for the disclaimers. Let's get into it. Today I wanted to talk about the Rebel Blue Ranch series because I just finished that this month, and I kind of wanted to let you know my thoughts on the series and just generally do an overview if you've never read it before and you're thinking about reading it. This is your sign to read it. I wanted to kind of not necessarily deep dive into the plot, because we'd be here for 4 hours. We would be here for 4 hours, and I don't know if I want to necessarily do that, but I just want to kind of talk about the books, why I liked the books, and why you should read them, basically. So we're gonna do that, and I'm gonna summarize the tropes and everything. So yay, we're gonna do that today. Book in the series is Done and Dusted, and again, this is by Lila Sage. All of these are by her. And I personally rated this one a 3-star. This one starts off with Clementine is her first name, but she goes by Emmy, and I think his name is Luke. I am so bad with character names. I'm so sorry. I'm going to try my best and correct myself in post. I know the family names, that's what matters. This is an interconnected romance series, so each book has a sibling in the family, and the Ryder family, I believe. Yeah, the Ryder family. It follows each sibling in the Ryder family and like their love story, basically. For the most part, it follows the whole family, and it kind of shares like the family dynamics and everything, and I thought that was really cool. Normally when there's a romance series, that's kind of what it entails, but yeah, that's kind of the start. So Clementine Emmy is our starting point, and she has a romance with Luke. He is it's kind of a one-sided rivalry. She really doesn't like him. I don't know how he feels about her. He's kind of neutral, I guess. But this story is brother's best friend and borderline rivals, and it has ADHD rep, which was really cool, and like anxiety, and it deals with grief as well. But like it also deals with like trying to come back after an accident. At least that's like the best way to describe it, I guess, because she got frazzled after she had an accident on a horse, so she ran away to home, and she's trying to kind of cope with that and like get back on the horse, basically. So yeah, she comes back to the ranch and meets him, and they kind of hit it off and form a secret attachment. It's kind of a secret relationship, at least from Gus, because they don't want Gus, her brother, because they don't want him to feel awkward, because they knew he was going to disapprove from the beginning, and he did. It's them dealing with the trials and tribulations, and her getting back into barrel racing, and like him trying to own the bar, because he inherited the bar after his dad died. So it's them just trying to get together and also face the trials of their own lives. And it's a good start to the series. It's not my favorite book, but I would say it's a pretty good introduction to the series, and you kind of get to know characters and kind of see what's coming, you know? So I rated it a 3-star. It was kind of middle of the road for me. It was a pretty good romance, I would say, but I definitely liked the other books in the series more, but that's mostly because I got more attached to the characters as time went on, so I kind of had stronger feelings, whereas like now it was just kind of a basic introduction. But going on to the second book in the series, it is called Swift and Saddled, and it is Wes's story, the other brother. And basically he wants to make this other house that they have. So they have a ranch where they do horse riding lessons and stuff, but there's this other house that was on the ranch that was like their old house that was abandoned and no longer used. So he wants to fix up the house and make it like a guest ranch so people can come stay on the property and like ride horses if they want to and just generally enjoy Wyoming. So that's his project, and the family approves it and is like, go for it, dude, you can do it, and that could be your part of the ranch. So he, like, your legacy, because Gus takes care of everything else and Emmy gets into doing the horse riding lessons. So like each sibling is contributing in his own way, and he wants to do something to contribute in his own way. So he hires an interior designer to help with the place, and Teddy recommends her friend from college, which is the female love interest. Again, I do not remember her name right now, which is really a disservice because she is by far my favorite character in the whole series. It's either Ada or Abba. Wants to kind of do something to make her career stand out because she wants to pivot into being a serious designer. So this is like her first big project that she can do on her own to like establish herself, because before she was doing kind of smaller things, but this ranch house is like a huge project and it would take multiple months, and she's down for it. So she comes to Wyoming, and before the first day of work, she and Wes are at the bar and they mini hook up, I guess. Not like they don't go all the way, they just have like a make out at the bar, and she leaves her stuff there, and they're kind of like, oh, that happened, I guess. And he's like, I wonder who that was. But come the next day, they find out, oh, this is the architect this is the interior designer that I have to work with for the next few months. And she's like, oh no, this is my boss. So it is a forced proximity boss ex-employee story. So they're stuck together and they have to try to navigate their feelings while trying to be professional at the same time. And I would say it goes pretty well. There is some depression rep in this story for Wes, and I really appreciated that. I found it really good and really resonated with me. And I just found the female main character really endearing, and a lot of her trauma made sense, and it like really helped highlight her character. And because like her trauma was that she was in a divorce, so she was divorced, I believe. So she was either divorced or she had a broke up engagement. Either way, it's still the same amount of emotional like impact. I would say it's about the same effect. But yeah, she had a lot of trauma from that past relationship that she was trying not to bring into this new one. And yeah, they navigate their problems with that. And again, and they also have to deal with possible long distance in the future, because if she's going to go continue her work as an interior designer, she needs to fly all over the country to do this project. And she's like, I don't want to be held back in a way, although it wouldn't be held back, metaphorically. Like, she doesn't want to be stuck in the same place again. So they have to kind of work through that as well. But anyway, the story was just fantastic. I loved them and their chemistry. It was by far a 5-star for me. And yeah, you think you can get any better than that, but it turns out it can. Now we're going to segue into the third book, which was The Lost and Lassoed. And this is Teddy and Gus's story, their love story. Let me tell you, I was waiting for their love story since the first book. Literally the first book. I was like, I ship these two. I want them together. And Lila Sage, you delivered. She delivered this story. It ate I was gagged. It was amazing. Anyway, this one is 5 stars, obviously. It would be a 6 star if I could rate it that high. I would rate it that high. Their tropes are enemies to lovers, obviously. A little bit of boss ex-employee because he hires her as like a nanny because the clothing store that she worked at closed, so she needed a summer job, and he decided to hire her as a nanny because Cam, his ex-lover who he co-parents with, she's coming up later. We'll talk about her later. She moves to go prepare for the bar because she wants to be a lawyer. So she's gone. So it's just Gus parenting, and he admittedly struggle busses a bit. So he needs someone to help out with the kids. So he hires Teddy to help him. And even though they really don't like each other, but as they work together and parent Riley, the best child in this series, I will tell you. I've never liked children in books, but I love Riley. She is so cute. Anyway, as they like get into this routine of like parenting and stuff, they kind of break down and have common ground, and they start to bond, and basically the story follows that, and it was beautiful. I loved it. And I love Teddy's dad as well. He is such a great character. His dad and Clementine's dad were best friends, so that made them 2 best friends. And yeah, it's also a best friend's brother trope as well, especially with enemies to lovers, best friend's brother, all that is all wrapped together, and it's really good. I normally am not a fan of the best friend's brother trope, but I really enjoyed this one, and I think it was good. I was a fan. And editing Joyce here. We are now entering spoiler territory. So if you are not comfortable with spoilers, you can skip on now. The reason I'm saying this is because I kind of rant about the ending of this book. So I feel like that's a little bit spoilery, at least more than already has been. And finally, we're going into the last book of the series. It is Wild and Wrangled. I rated this one a 4 star, and I will go into why. It wasn't that it was worse than the other books. It's just that there were some issues with the book that I couldn't really overlook, and I'll get into that. But this story is between Cam and Dusty. I believe his name is Dusty. This one is a second chance romance, and high school sweethearts, second chance, all those things. And there's also heavy co-parenting in this book as well, which I really enjoyed that. I love seeing the co-parenting and them being good friends while still trying to make things good for their child. And we get to see some like stepdad things. And they also, while it was a second chance, they were also, I would say, friends to lovers as well. Although that one is not heavily advertised. At least that is my personal interpretation, was they became friends and then started dating and then broke up and now they're second chance. I love this book so much. I really loved Cam as well, like getting to see her more, because when she popped up in the second book, I was like, ooh, who is this? I want to know more about her. And same with Dusty, when he popped up in the second book, I was like, I want to get to know these people. And what do you know, we have a book. The third book ended very abruptly because Cam was going to get married to this guy. I don't remember his name. It doesn't matter. He's a jerk. She was going to get married to this guy for financial gain for her parents, because she wanted stuff from her parents, and that was like their condition, was like, you need to marry someone we approve of. So she was going to get married to this guy, but he abandons her at the altar. So that's the start of the book. And Dusty like comes and like consoles her and like helps her, because they're still best friends, even though things are awkward because they were broken up. So the story starts there, and then it progresses and they reconnect. And I was so bad at describing this book. We also get a bunch of flashbacks which like explain why Cam and why Dusty are the way they are. And we also get context into how their relationship started and specifically how it ended. And I think that was really useful and very helpful. And I just wanted to mention that really quick because I didn't mention that. It's a really good story. But but the reason it's a 4-star for me is because of the ending. I don't think, okay, one of the tropes I haven't mentioned yet is the third act breakup. I do not think the third act breakup was necessary. I think they could have been fine. I think they could have just been happy together and it would have worked out and like it could have been okay. I don't think they needed that at all. So that was a little unnecessary to me. So I wish instead that she had gotten some resolution with her parents instead, because they kind of had like a confrontation, but that was more between Dusty and them. She didn't get her own moment where she could tell her parents off and tell them what she really feels. So that, I wish that she had that chance to do that, but she didn't get that chance. That's like the only thing I would change about the books, is get rid of the third act breakup and have that happen instead, and have that be the final conflict of the book. What we got was still good. I still am happy with the ending. And at the end of this book, we get a flash forward into an epilogue that really wraps up the whole series, and I almost cried. I will admit it, I almost cried. I got so attached to these characters that it was so emotional for me, and I was just, it was such a good ending to wrap up everything of these characters. And if she ever decides to revisit them with the book, maybe Riley's story when she grows up, I would be sad. I would immediately pre-order. I would be here for it. So yeah, anyway, those are kind of my thoughts on the series. I really enjoyed it. I averaged probably like a 4-star, probably is the average when you average it out. I'm not gonna do it right now, but you know, math. Overall, really good series, and I would recommend it to anybody who wants to get into cowboy romance. This is probably the best segue into cowboy romance. This was my first experience with a cowboy romance, so maybe I'm just biased, but yeah, that's like my take. Also, the smut in all of these books, the smut was smut. It was good. Good smut. Yeah, I probably should have mentioned that. There is open door. It is explicit open door. There is smut in every book. So just be prepared. Kind of forgot to mention that. I don't know why I forgot to mention that. Really enjoyed this series and I would highly recommend it. If you read it, you will get really close to a badge on Pagebound. So that's a bonus. That is a bonus. And yeah, I don't know. I just love this series and I will praise it till the end of time. I don't care. I don't care what you think. I don't care if you disagree, okay? It may be a little cliche, but I love my cliche stories, okay? I love my cliche romance. Let me have this. Anyway, that's kind of my thoughts on this series. And if you want to read this series now, please let me know. Did you TBR it? Has it already been on your TBR? Or were you not, did you know this one existed? Were you not interested before? Just let me know what you think. They're extremely curious. And also, what are your March's hopefuls for this month? I really want to know. One of mine is the sequel to First Time Caller. And Now Back to You, I believe is what it's called. That's one of my main hopefuls for this month. And I hopefully will start another cowboy series. I don't know which one, but I will probably talk about that one when I finish it as well. So yeah, that's it for me today. I hope you enjoyed my rambles and maybe got interested in this series. Maybe, I don't know. Anyway, that's all for me today. Drink some water. Energy drinks and pop do not count. And I'll see you guys around with some more book content and maybe some other stuff. I don't know yet. Let me know what you want to see. Anyway, see you guys.